like lingerie and like a shawl, and I was like, I'm dystopian hooker, and everybody was like, no. How do you solve a problem like Rae Piper?
You don't.
Also, like, don't forget, barbers used to be dentists. I don't know what I'm saying. Oh!
Put my back to the camera and then just do pussy.
Pussy. Yeah.
She doesn't need solving. She's fine being a problem.
Objection!
Conversation killer.
I'm not bitter at all. I love everybody. Love to all parties involved.
From that moment on, all I've done is think about what is that identity for me as a performer and what do I want to say and what do I want to communicate.
People can't
what
know
was
I'm
that
human.
with Georgie? Like we were just like we went wild.
It was so funny.
Because I just started an Irish accent for some reason. I was like, hello.
Hello!
You're a little
And
leprechaun.
and then that cascaded.
You're such a little leprechaun.
He almost said top of the morning to you.
Oh,
and I was
top
like,
of the morning
ooh.
to you. Love that.
Right, hello everybody, and welcome to the 9th episode of the Niche Artefact podcast. And with me we have the amazing co-host and show producer for Niche Artefact, Rae de la Monja.
Hi everybody. Are you keeping well? And it is my extreme silky, sultry pleasure to introduce our guest. Ooh, what are we saying?
Whatever you want, darling. But probably
I think-
the reality.
We have Rae Piper in the studio today, everybody. Claps for Rae. Yay.
Hello!
Oh my god.
So today we'll be going through the retrospective for Dystopia, and then we will also be having Milady Burlesque as our hot topic. So Rae Piper will be discussing her story and how she's gotten to where she's doing.
Cool.
And we'll be talking about Studio 54 that we're preparing for, and we've had some amazing news lately.
Yes.
We can't really talk about it until February. But
Yeah, but let's just say you send me a cryptic text, and I'm guessing he sent you a cryptic text too.
Yes.
And he was just like, when you have a second, please call me. And I was like, oh shit.
Panic attack.
So I went to my manager and I was like, can I just pop out for like 2 seconds? And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I went out and you gave me the news and I was like, okay, I love you, I'm proud of you. And then I went back in and my manager was like, are you okay? And I just started bawling, just like, ah! And they were like, can you tell us? And I was like, no. And they were like, do you want to hug? And I was like, yeah. So I was just hugging my manager, Grace. Hi, Grace. It was so funny.
Yeah,
I didn't have quite that emotional reaction.
No, I know. But
Rae was like in true militant fashion. We need to rehearse. We need to get everything going.
It's like, right, plan. To be fair though, when I did put the phone down to you, literally the first thing I did was just go, yes! And then I was like, back in the room.
Yeah, so unfortunately we are top secret at the moment, and we can keep it a secret at Niche Artefact. So we will be able to make an announcement in February time, and there'll be plenty of promos and photo shoots, so unfortunately we can't talk about it, but
no, but we
big
can
things
give a
coming.
little, we can put a little, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Shimmy?
Just,
A little shimmy out there?
little deep shot
little,
action. Little sister act.
Oh, hello, little cat. There's a cat in the studio today. So cute. Right, okay, so let's talk about Studio 54. I'm so excited. So you've been trying to resurrect Grace Jones for a bit.
And I have succeeded.
And I have succeeded, and you have succeeded. Because obviously, you can't talk about Studio 54 without talking about Grace Jones. She was a staple?
Yeah, staple. Yeah,
Staple.
Yeah. And it's when we've spoken before about how the first niche was very, very small, not that many artists. So I've been looking at a way to get Grace back. So I think Studio 54 is going to be an amazing.
I'm submitting an art piece.
Yeah, are you? I am. Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh, what are you doing? What medium? Tell us all.
So it's canvas, and I'm gonna paint it all one color, and then I'm gonna make a disco ball out of like glass tiles, and then I wanna like print pictures of me or different people doing different expressions and like share them out and put them on top of the mirror, so you can still see your reflection, but you can still see like the cast.
That's so
and it's
cool.
sort of like this idea that like a mirror ball reflects every version of yourself.
That's really
And
awesome.
I'm really excited.
Oh my god.
It came to me whilst I was listening to Taylor Swift, because she has a song called Mirror Ball, and I was like, oh my god, I really want to do this. So I might chicken out, but hopefully I won't, because it's February, so we have to.
Yeah, and this is now on film, so there is no
Shit.
chickening out.
Oh no.
You all heard this right here.
Right. Do you want to tell us a bit about Studio 54? Obviously you're not presential.
Yeah, well, so there's a very good reason for that, though.
Yeah.
Is, so I live half my time in Germany and half my time in the UK.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the next niche has fallen at a time when I am in Germany and I'm working on an opera out there. So try as hard as I might, that commute's just a little bit difficult to do for the show. However, I still will be with you guys via the magic of digital technology. So I'm going to make a little film, which will be my performance. And yeah, I have a few ideas for it. I don't want to say too much because it's still
Development.
And I might change my mind like
Fair.
500 times. But there will be, of course, there will be the hoop in it. So if you've seen me spinning around on my lollipop lyra, don't worry, that will still be there because
Fabulous.
I have a hoop here in the UK and I have a hoop in Germany. They just have different accents. What can I say?
So Rae will still be part of the show. Obviously, it wouldn't be the same without you.
No.
And it's just been, we've had a lot going on for Niche Artefact. Like
Yes.
we did the thank you to and shout out to Saul Morgan, who
Yes.
did an incredible photo shoot for us. The photos are nearly ready. They're just going through some edits, and so we'll stick some on here for you guys as a preview.
Yeah, very grateful. Thank you, Sol. I felt really comfortable. Like the second I got there, I was very like apologetic and very like, but also like I feel like it's one of those things where like I brought lingerie to the photo shoot, so how much can I be coy?
You were slaying.
So you know what I mean? It's like I can be like, oh, not me, but also I brought like.
Don't make me sing.
Don't make me sing.
And as soon as that wind machine was on, you were just
I
like,
know. My favorite thing was that
Face,
Sol was
face,
telling
face.
David like, do this with the wind machine, and David was just like on my face, and I was like. But no, it was great. Sol,
Getting
thank
like a little
you.
facelift.
Yes.
Going on.
Literally, thank you, Sol. You've made me feel really comfortable in your studio.
yeah, it
Also,
was a
what
sensational.
studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, you looked hot. Shut up.
Hashtag eye roll, much. Okay.
Literally. Oh, such a diva.
Do you want it in German? I can do it in German.
Go on then.
Hashtag Augenrollen.
Augenroller.
Yeah, you heard it here. Hashtag,
Schmetterling!
make it a thing. Hashtag Augenrollen. Put it below in the comments. I want to see it.
Great. So we let's talk about the journey because we always like to introduce the journey. So we finished Birth of Pride. It was a technical nightmare, but we got through it.
Yeah.
I did give a shout out to Priscilla in the last episode because again, a lot of entertainers would have not taken it in the chin the way that she did when her music didn't play. Obviously, we made sure that would not happen for Dystopia.
Oh yeah, we were prepped too.
So yeah, we wanted to like make sure it was technically a lot smoother than Birth of Pride had been. So we went 2 days before into the library. Once it was closed, we obviously had lovely DJ Wilson Shaw there to like make sure the sound was crisp. We had a different sound system. We had an actual PA system, which was a lovely gal.
And I don't know about you, but I was like dancing around during rehearsals because
Yeah.
it just felt so good and sounded so good.
I think like that. Well, actually, Dystopia. We can talk about this. Is the first time we introduced an opening number.
That's true. First time we'd ever done a group number.
A group number as an opener. Yeah, which was very correct.
It felt so right. And I don't know, I felt like at that point, all of a sudden, like we were already close as a team and everything, but all of a sudden it just felt like we really bonded a lot and there was like an evolution from there on.
Definitely. We did Spectrum by Florence and the Machine, and it was so wonderful. The fact that like, obviously this song was written ages ago, but for some reason, it was the perfect amount of time for everybody to have a chorus to come in.
Yeah, it was written for us,
It was
right?
written for us, yeah. Thank you, Florence Welch and the Machine. The fact that I'm singing with a Western professional and you hold space for me, not to quote the Wicked Pret Store, it's so wonderful. And yeah, every time we get to sing, I think I cried just before Occult Odyssey. I went to give you a hug. And
Yeah,
I was like,
you did, and I was like, girl, suck those tears back up. There is makeup and we don't want it down your face. That mascara took time.
Yes,
And
it really
can we
did.
just say that the stage performances from Dystopia were actually some of my favourite ever.
Yeah, I think they were great. I think we obviously did a lot of tidying after Dystopia. I would say the show was about half an hour too long. But also, I think that was also space dependent. I don't know if you would agree
Yeah.
with this. I feel like the library, as a wonderful space as it was, and we're very grateful, there was a lot of chances for people to just not give a fuck about what was happening in front of them.
It was a very, because it was such an open space.
Yeah.
And I think also just because of various things, like there was a little bit of lag in between numbers and things like this.
I think it felt like a festival kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Open air stage. Whereas now that we have a lot more control over the lighting in particular.
Especially
It's
the
a lot
lighting's
more
made such a
intimate
difference.
where we are now.
We can command people's attention a lot more now.
It's also this weird thing of like RuPaul Back to My Roots, where I was like, oh yeah, this started in a bar. Like, you know, like when we went into reps, I was like, oh, this is what we were missing.
Yeah.
This is what we were missing.
It's just something about the environment kind of reflecting the vibe that we are, but because we were born in a bar, we reflected that immediately. It
was really good. Now, we have spoken with Saul Morgan, with Priscilla Shanna-Krakow, and with Georgie about the delicious Deliveroo mishaps of someone watching you perform. So how does that feel for you when you're spinning your clam and you just see 17 Deliveroo drivers just like gooning and baiting?
So, in honesty, because I am who I am, when I'm performing, I have literally like tunnel vision, or I'm either like so invested in the character or the music that I couldn't even tell you what's going on in the audience. Or if it's more kind of a let's break that fourth wall and let's talk with our audience, I will be focused on the audience in front of me. So I literally had no idea. The first time this ever happened was when we were at the Goat, wasn't it?
Yes.
I had no idea that there was a whole bunch of people standing at the window, like with their noses pressed against
Literally.
it, staring in at me.
And everyone was like, buy a ticket.
Yeah, just edging. Just grown men edging outside of the Goat.
And I think the first time I actually saw it was like when I saw a video of one of my performances and you ran up to the window to cover it with some... I think you put my wings up there or something.
And then people were like,
So, yeah, I kind of had no idea, but it's so hysterical to me that it's become all about the Deliveroo people.
Absolutely.
Deliveroo,
pizzas.
we love you.
Extra salty.
Well,
Extra
they're all
salty.
sad now because there's no more glass windows where we're...
Well, maybe they
No.
should just buy a ticket. But hey, I hope they had a good show. What can I say?
I mean, it's always a good show when you're involved, honestly. I want to talk about some of the numbers that you did for Dystopia. So, because we're talking about Dystopia, right? Yeah. So let's talk about the show. We did Spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Everybody together.
Such a cool start.
Such a cool
good,
start.
energetic vibe.
Oh, can we hold space for Danny and Priscilla doing Joyride?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it was so good. And also, this is one of like insider trading, like you would never believe this, blah, blah, blah. But like, they weren't ready and the music started playing.
Oh, God,
and then
yeah.
they ran from the green room into the audience and they were like, let's just make it part of the show. And they were like, ah! And it worked
Like
so
crash
well.
landing to start
Yes,
with.
it worked so well.
And all the sound bites that they incorporated
Yes.
into it. Like, I'm so proud of all of them because they, from Dystopia onwards, I feel like everyone's really
Their game.
making the performances their own and getting it.
Yes, it's no longer, not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's no longer hit the track, I'm gonna lip sync. Now it's like, there is like narrative to it. There's like...
Everyone's discovering their brand and their identity
Yes.
and really evolving into their art. It's not, I feel
Also-
like everyone's so unique now.
At the time of the recording, the Priscilla video of her doing Dark Lady from Occult Odyssey has over 1,000 views on YouTube now.
Woo!
Work, mama,
And
work.
I just
Yeah.
want to say, like, being able to put everyone's performances on YouTube, like, it's been quite a nice experience to see all that. Like, you've got everyone's got quite a lot of views, which wasn't the reason why I did it. It's the same reason for the podcast. I don't want to be an influencer. Like, this is us to
influencer.
catalog.
But today's episode is sponsored by...
No, but it's for us to be able to catalog what we're doing and record our history. Like, what we're doing is important, and it should be.
Because one day we're going to be on our deathbed. Again, I'm going to have my gay as good blanket and my half-lit cigarette. I'm going to be like, we did that.
Yeah, well, one day, if there's any documentaries to be made, I would love to see a documentary because we've got footage from every show.
Yeah.
Like, I would love that to happen.
I love it. Then, we can't talk about Dystopia.
Diva song.
Yes!
Oh, yes.
Oh.
That is actually probably my favourite. I can't believe Serena learned that song in 2 days flat.
Yeah.
Singing a song that was not meant for
The human voice, yeah.
So if you're not familiar, Serena Eden, our fantastic vocalist, sang the Diva song from
The Fifth Element.
Fifth
Fifth
Element,
Element, yeah.
which is a song that was written to not be able to be sung by humans, and then she went and did that. It was so good, and we had Priscilla Priscilla and Danny just being idiots behind her, and it was so funny.
Well, Priscilla nearly stole the show with that wig that she was wearing.
That Ursula the Sea Witch fucking Priscilla Presley beehive.
I can't wait to see that wig again.
I hope it comes. Priscilla, please bring her back. I miss her.
But yeah, I will be going through all the video footage from Dystopia, so that will be the next lot of performances to go on YouTube. So there's plenty of great content coming from that.
I flopped. I think, like, I'm not... No. I flopped because, in a personal way, I flopped because I wasn't feeling it. And that's the biggest flop.
I can get on board with that, because that is totally valid.
The audience was entertained. I sang beautifully, because I can't help it.
Yes, you did not flop commercially.
I didn't flop commercially. I
the
flopped
box
for
office
myself.
speaks for itself, darling.
Yes, but, like, I did sing Video Games by Lana Del Rey, but I did the Trixie Mattel version, which is kind of country cunty, and then I did Ride, because you love Ride and you want to incorporate into any niche possible. But I think it was also like
To Destroy Me, because it's the one song I can't listen to without crying my eyes out.
But I did that in like lingerie and like a shawl, and I was like, I'm dystopian hooker, and everybody was like, no. But I think my favorite number from myself, I think I loved Mad Hatter. I loved Mad Hatter so much.
Oh, that was so good.
Yes, and like Insider Tea, I wanted David, hi David, to help me choreograph it, and we could never find time, even though we lived together. But we couldn't find time to like rehearse it, blah blah blah. And then I remember finishing Mad Hatter, and then David was just like, I'm so glad I didn't touch that, because I would have never asked you to do any of the things you did, and they were so good. And I was like, oh my god.
The choreography for that was so good. I loved that number, and it sat so beautifully in your voice.
Yeah, weirdly.
Such a... Oh my gosh, you have to see it. If you didn't see it, where were you?
But, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the show was really good. You finished the night. You sang a beautiful ballad.
I did, and it was a real surprise to me, actually, because I wasn't scheduled to finish the night, but then when we were in rehearsal, I sang the number, and you were like, oh, you're closing the show with that number, and I was like...
It just felt right.
Oh my god.
It
was 50% from Ballroom.
Oh! Spoken about the cyborg.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, the cyborg.
Take it off. Take it off, honey.
I'm taking it off because I'm getting hot. Anyway.
I said this not yesterday. I said this in the last episode. You do fun very well, and then you do this like intellectual, highbrow, like you need a degree to be able to write this shit, and it's so incredible. So talk to us about Born Never Asked.
I would just say that Born Never Asked and Diva Song are probably my top two moments in all of the niches. I think that's creative.
No, note that I'm not a part of those two numbers. I'm not bitter at all. I love everybody. Love to all parties involved.
From a creative point of view, like that, I felt like was, I think when you discovered more of your own brand that you didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like you tapped into something there, and I'm gonna forever be wanting you to chase that and take that higher. But anyway, talk about it.
But yeah, I mean, I want to say this would never have happened if it wasn't for the fact that Niche gave me this platform. A niche, exactly. A platform to...
Get your fishnets back out.
Get my fishnets back out, yeah, first of all. But where else do you get a platform where someone is literally saying to you, sure, you can explore anything you want to explore. And as a burlesque performer, I mean, burlesque is a massive subject anyway.
Yes.
I mean, basically, burlesque was originally associated with travesty and parody and comedy and all of these things. You know, you have Sally Rand and Gypsy Rose Lee, and the striptease element started coming into it and all of this.
And you can see your influence when you perform, so sometimes you adopt those old facial expressions that those
those
I can see that
quirky
influence
things
in you.
and that,
like you're doing
that
comedy still, like
yeah, like it's vaudeville all over.
yes,
yeah. So you have that background, and then obviously now
Less
you
for
have
less.
now you have neo burlesque, which is like, you know, Dita Von Teese and you know the people that we currently have, where people have extended it, and you see people incorporating like fire acts or aerial acts or whatever, and that's fantastic. But when you said do what you want, and this theme came along, and I just kind of went, do you know what? I love Bump and Grind, it's great, and I love all the commercial stuff, that's also great. But I wanted to find something new to do with burlesque, because I'm I'm just one of those people that's never satisfied with like, it's like, okay, this is how you do this, and I'm like, yeah, but how could we do it differently?
But you have the most incredible drive, and that's what that is.
Yeah, but then you basically said, sure, go do what you want. So
Which is it used to
that's
be
amazing.
It used
You're
to be,
both amazing.
It used to be your worst nightmare because I'm sure at one point you're like, tell me what to do.
I was like, yeah, well, maybe give me some parameters. And you're like, no, do whatever you want. I was like, okay, fine. But yeah, so I just thought to myself, well, with the theme being dystopia, and I started thinking about the element of burlesque, which is obviously about clothing removal. And I was like, yes, we love to do it for teas, and that's great. And I'm the first person as well to want to incorporate the element of body positivity and celebrating body and all of those things. But then I was thinking, well, what's another reason for removing clothes? And this idea came to me about the idea of a cyborg, which has been created by society and has all of these things put on them, like literal physical things, but I suppose you could treat it in a different way. Yeah, the sort of expectations of society, everything that's put on you, and this idea that you're trying to find your own humanity. The cyborg is looking for their humanity underneath these layers of things. So the removal of parts of the costume became so integral to the act. It wasn't just like, I'm doing this just because it looks pretty and I want you to see my, I don't know, my pretty arm, whatever. There it is.
It introduced drama.
And narrative and thought, and then...
The stakes were so high for that number.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was very personal because that moment when the music changed, and because I started off with a Laurie Anderson track, by the way, if you've never listened to Laurie Anderson, you really, really need to. She's amazing. Which is called Born Never Asked, which I think we can all get on board with. We were all born just the way that we are. Nobody asked to be born the way we are. We are who we are, and that's that. But then I merged it with a version of What a Wonderful World, which was this very weird dystopian version I found out there. I'd never heard it played like that, and I instantly fell in love with it. It was amazing. And then it was this idea of once you've removed all these layers, and it's just you know, with nothing, looking at the wonder of the world and the beauty of the world, and thinking about, it's that one line where it says about friends holding hands, blah blah blah. They're not saying that, they're saying I love you. And that moment, then the music lifted, and I was just like, oh, this feels like something different. And
it was a beautiful arrangement. It was so good.
I was so grateful to have a platform to do that. And you're right, from that moment on, all I've done is think about what is that identity for me as a performer, and what do I want to say, and what do I want to communicate.
Because you've tapped into something there that I've never seen before, even from a movement perspective on stage, like the movements you were doing, the story you were telling.
Well, you allowed me
and
to...
the outfit.
The outfit. The outfit, yeah, I love the outfit. In this picture here. But yeah, it's like, I stopped being afraid to incorporate all the elements of myself that I didn't think would normally fit with traditional burlesque. So I was like, do you know what? Yes, I'm a classically trained dancer. I also dance contemporary dance. Why am I not using this? And the fact that I work as a choreographer, why am I not extending this more?
And to fly your own freak flag, essentially.
Well, exactly. You know,
I think
I'm that freak. So.
For someone who's worn so many hats throughout her career, sometimes it must be difficult to be like, oh wait, no, I can also do this. Oh wait, I also have this. Oh wait, I also have this, like, you know, like you were saying, like, why am I not incorporating contemporary dance? Why am I not incorporating classical dance? Why am I not using the tools as a choreographer? And like, you've worn so many hats.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of out of necessity because,
of course,
you know, like, in our industry, you can't just do one thing.
Well,
it's really hard.
Unless your parents have money. But yeah, like, I just think about you, like, every time I've worked with you, I have found a new thing that you do that is, like, the best version of that. Or, like, the most, like, what's the word? It's the most, like, innovative version of it. I've never seen burlesque done the way you do it. I think your point of view is so incredible and so, like, yes, I'm removing my clothes, but there's a reason. Like, you know, it's not just like, is it a nipple? No, we know it's a pasty. But you always bring something else, and I think that's just so unique to you as a performer.
Thank you. I mean, I kind of want to keep pushing that because I'm sure that there are many other artists out there that are also looking to push, like, the boundaries of understanding of what burlesque is. And I mean, maybe at some point it will, because the word burlesque, you know, it's it is quite specific. So I love how they invented neo-burlesque, because at least that means something new. Maybe it transmogrifies into something completely different. I don't know. I don't know where it will lead. But that's part of the joy of being an artist, is it is actually about the journey. It's not about the end point. So yeah, I'm just so grateful for being green-lighted for all of those things. Because I think also, like, as a performer, you're very used to sitting in a box and somebody hires you because you do X, Y, and Z.
Or you look X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and they're not interested in A, B, and C, so you kind of dismiss that stuff. But then when you were like, babe, bring the whole alphabet, have alphabet soup. And I'm like...
And can we just talk about the reviews for you that were in the Left Lion?
Yes.
Do you remember the words that were used for you?
Yeah.
Do you want to say them?
No, because I'm embarrassed.
But I can't remember the words.
In Left Lion, they said it was a thing of true beauty.
Yeah.
Milady Burlesque provided another breathtaking act that defies description, but involved pole dancing and spinning in a hoop with such grace yet strength, it was a thing of beauty. Again, off stage, Milady stated, "Niche means creativity, freedom, and inclusivity. It gives me a voice that might not otherwise be heard."
She says, playing with her hair coyly. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at taking compliments. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just like, take it! Ah!
Yeah, so Left Line, they did a review for Occult Odyssey. It was like a first publicated independent review that, just completely... The review was glowing for everybody.
Yeah, I was so grateful, Left Line.
Well, we'll talk about Occult on the next... So that'll be the next episode. But Occult Odyssey was like the blueprint now in terms of everything. Just
A night has not run as smoothly as Occult Odyssey.
Yeah.
It was super smooth.
It was so great. Cool. So, obviously, you've worn many hats. You've had a very long career. Can we talk a little bit about your journey, maybe, before we go into the art? So, I know you as, when I first met Rae, she was the co-artistic director of a dance company with her husband that my fiance worked for. Before that, you have been on the West End, you've toured internationally, you were acro captain for Love Never Dies. Honestly, it's that scene of like the papyrus just like keeps going. But like...
But that's because I'm really old.
Shut up.
My CV is long because I'm old, okay?
Shut up. But you've done so much, and you've done so much for someone who... I don't think you had the most traditional journey into the art... the art world.
Not really.
To say the least.
No.
But you've done so much, and I think you've done so much because of who you are. You're absolutely one of the hardest working people I've ever met, if not the hardest working person I've ever met. When we lived together during lockdown, so that to keep each other sane, we would get to like the end of a week and we were like, okay, cool, we can like chill now. And it was like, no, we must find the next project. I'm going to start doing dances on film and we will edit them. And that's how...
Yes, I am that insane. That made me sound really insane. I actually am.
But it's so good. You just, but now you're at a stage in your life where I have also seen you prioritize some downtime, which is really cool. But also, how are you going to know that you need to prioritize downtime if you didn't go balls to the wall first?
Exactly. That's very true.
Let's talk through your journée.
My journée.
I remember you saying taking coaches at like 3 a.m. to go audition.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, I guess probably it started before that. So... Yeah, it's really not a traditional journey. So most people who go into the theatrical industry will tend to follow a very similar path, which is they do dance or singing or acting or all of them when they're a kid. Then they go to a theatre school and study like one of those genres, or they go to a ballet school, whichever one. And then they audition and they go into a company or freelance into different jobs and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't quite do that.
No.
So... When I was a kid, I did go to dance school because my mum ran a dance school. I'm very lucky. My mum is also a West End choreographer and she happened to run a dance school. So I got an amazing dance training from her up until the age of 17. But basically I was... That's a terrible thing to say, but basically everyone says that. What does that even mean? Nothing. I was at school and I was one of those really academic people, like super academic. So I was put up a year ahead of myself at school, and my father had this whole plan for me, which was that I was going to go to university. He specifically wanted me to go to Cambridge because that's where he'd been, and I was going to get a degree and then become a lawyer and be really well paid, pension, the whole lot.
I didn't know law was the thing you were going to achieve. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he wanted me to be a lawyer. I guess just because I argued a lot.
Objection!
I can see you being a lawyer.
Yeah, being like that really
You'd be
annoying.
like a shark.
Yeah, I'd probably like rip people to pieces. I think I would have enjoyed it if... No, I wouldn't. Forget that. But yeah,
Legally
so...
brunette.
Yeah.
Legally a dye box. This is not real. This is absolutely fake, but never mind. I love it anyway. Oh, that's so Glinda, wasn't it? Toss. So yeah, so I did my A-levels, and I applied to Cambridge, and I got a place at Cambridge to read classics, which is Latin and Greek, so it sort of tied in with my A-levels because I did English, Latin, maths and further maths. Okay, maybe it didn't tie in with the maths and everything, but...
What's further maths?
It's like maths, but more. It's maths for people who really love maths.
Homophobic.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Homophobic maths.
Yeah.
You've heard it here first, folks.
It's like, this equation does not add up. Oh.
No, neither do I.
Yeah, there we go. Definitely homophobic. So yeah, I did all these A-levels and I got some great results and blah, blah, blah. So I had my place at Cambridge and I just did not want to go. I really didn't want to go. Like, it was giving me such deep trauma. And I actually got really sick because of this. So I turned around to my dad and I said, hey, just to let you know, I'm not going to Cambridge. And he was like, hey, great. What are you doing? I was like, I'm going to be a dancer. And he went, excellent. Not in my house. There's the door. So I went, okay, fine. And grabbed my bags and basically left. It was possibly slightly not as pleasant as that, but that's the saccharine version.
Splendor.
Yes, Splendor. There it is. So I did kind of get thrown out of the house and I went to live in London and I found a little place to live in a hostel run by a bunch of nuns. Sister Rosalie, thank you very much for
How do you
housing me.
solve a problem like Rae Piper?
You don't. She doesn't need solving. She's fine being a problem. And so I couldn't afford to go to a training college. I couldn't afford to do really anything because I was just living in London by myself. And I was like, ooh, okay, what do I do? So I took a bunch of dance classes at the open dance studios that they have in London. So places like Pineapple and Danceworks. And then I just started hitting the auditions. But I was up against all these graduates who had had 3 years of like vocational training. So I was really aware that I was not at the same level in any way, shape or form. So maybe that's where the whole thing of like learning to do something really quick comes from, because I was like, get these open, keep this shut.
Because it was survival for you.
Yeah. I just had to figure out how people looked like they were dancers as opposed to someone who had just come from just a dance school, like a little kids dance school. Anyway, I guess probably because I'm just really stubborn, I didn't give up. And
we're so glad you didn't.
Yeah, well, and I also learnt really quickly as well that the more skills you have in the industry, obviously the more job options are open to you. So I was very fortunate that I had my acrobatic skills, again, because of my mom, because my mom is awesome, love you mom, who was also an acrobat.
Hi, Gail.
Hey, Gail. And I had learnt sort of how to sing. It really wasn't great at the time, like, to be honest. It was kind of a bit of a foghorn. No, it really wasn't that great. But yeah, I just applied for a whole bunch of things, and eventually I got a job working internationally, and then that springboarded me over to America, and then that springboarded me back to the UK and into the West End, because along the way I met loads of people who I learnt from. Like, for instance, I remember when I was working on the ships, our dance captain, who was this amazing dancer, he took one look at me. I'd rocked up on the ships and I was like this kind of ballet dancer at the time, really, because that's where most of my background was in ballet. And he was like, oh, sweetie, you need to learn how to be a showgirl. So he took me on the stage at like 1 o'clock in the morning after the shows were done and everything. And he taught me how to tip and how to, be that glamorous showgirl. And I just lapped it up because I was like, I need to not look like a dickhead up here. You know, everyone else is like busting out these moves and I'm like, la 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 la, I'm so ballet. And he really taught me so much.
He said, put more blush on button 2.
Well, no, actually, to be fair, the girls who taught me to do my makeup, she used to work at Moulin Rouge, so I learned how to do show makeup from her.
Mark. What a place to
because
learn.
up till then, it had been like a couple of bits of grease paint, and it was like, oh, no, that's not cool. It was gross, like blue grease paint on your eyes.
Ooh, a blue garage door.
Ooh, don't do that. Nobody do that. So yeah, he taught me this, and then by the end of the contract, he was like, you went from 0 to hero. I'm like, that's because you taught me stuff. And all the singers on the ship also worked with me because I really wanted to sing better. And they said, sure, be part of the cabaret that we're doing. And they just gave me space and time and help to like discover how to not sound like an idiot when I sang. So along the way, I've had all these people helping me. And yeah, then I just ended up working in the West End, which was great. And from there, I've also...
Original cast of Love Never Dies.
Yeah, that show. Another story. And then, yeah, I worked at, when I met Paul, I started working in contemporary dance because I loved contemporary dance. But again, I'd never trained in it. So I was like, teach me. And he was like, okay, sure. And yeah, we worked together at the Royal Opera House and Sadler's Wells and all this stuff.
So you've learned a lot of things, not from the conventional learning methods.
Yeah,
so
it's
you've literally like
University of Life. I know that's so cliche. Isn't
But
it?
no,
But look what it gives you.
But also, do you know what? That's also like the OG way of learning. We didn't always
True.
have degrees. We didn't always have...
You just learn experientially.
Yes.
And a lot of the time it's superior. Like when I did my degree in film technology, at the time I was hating it because I just thought I could have learned this myself on YouTube.
By doing it,
Yeah,
yeah.
just by doing it.
Yeah.
Also, like, don't forget, barbers used to be dentists. I don't know what I'm saying.
But yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
you know...
I know
What the
exactly
fuck
what
is
you're
that? What the fuck?
And
I'm
next-
My
so
teeth
sorry.
have got a great undercut.
And next week on
Your
Dr.
teeth
Quinn,
are lesbians.
that felt like a Dr. Quinn medicine woman segue.
Yes,
I
I'm
used to
so
love Dr.
sorry.
Quinn.
I used to
On the
love
box set.
Dr. Oh my god, can we movie night it at some point,
I love
please?
Dr. Quinn.
Love
I
her.
grew up watching Dr. Quinn and Star Trek Voyager back to back, like the two most different shows ever.
You're so
A
good.
little bit, yeah.
That's a bit of your journey, which...
Yeah.
But that's the thing. That's really cool. I don't think most people would necessarily look at a dancer and be like, yes, you almost went to Cambridge. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, of course they wouldn't. And
we have biases towards artists. We have biases towards academic people.
we make judgments all the time.
Yeah, I consider myself a very dumb person when it comes to academic stuff. I just didn't throve, nothing. But
No
like,
thrivness.
you've never made me feel stupid, and you're one of the smartest people, if not the smartest person I know. So like, that also talks a lot about who you are.
I think it talks more about the other people that do make you feel stupid
Yes.
because, like, who are they? So why would you ever do that to somebody?
I know.
There's always going to be, like, no matter how smart you are or how good you are at something, there's always going to be somebody who's better than you at it. So why would you ever put somebody else down unless you wanted that to happen to you?
Work.
Don't be a dick. Just saying.
Don't be a dick.
No. That's a life lesson. Don't be a dick.
I just remembered a story. Preparing for Studio 54, I was messaging my sister and Ava Ferreira. She's
Your very hot sister.
yes.
Yeah.
So hot! Ava! Give me a chance. Ava Ferreira, please give me a chance.
When are we meeting her?
I'll take my
Seriously.
engagement ring out. Please just give me a chance. Holy shit.
She did. Her last art piece was for Stage Exit, Golden Age of Hollywood.
Is she coming back?
I'm trying.
Ava, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was telling me a story that apparently, because I was talking to her about the theme, trying to get her to do a piece, and she said that my dad went to Studio 54.
What?
No.
And I was just like...
Shut up.
And she's like, oh, did I never tell you the story? And I was just like, no. So apparently, in the 70s, my dad went over to New York, and him and his friend tried to get into Studio 54, and the bouncers wouldn't let them in.
Because they basically know nobody in other than
Girls.
major celebrities
Or
and,
girls.
and
So
pretty
apparently
girls.
they were letting all the pretty girls
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
they just kept saying no, and then more girls, and then they were like, okay, well, then they went to a bar nearby Studio 54 and got about 16 girls to convince them to come to studio with them. So they like snuck and hid in between these 16 girls that they convinced from a different bar. And actually,
Your dad literally did this.
Funny.
Your dad literally
Hide
did.
behind my fall. It's fine.
That's amazing.
so they managed to get in, and apparently it is. Well,
It was
we
it.
all know, like, you know, the drugs, the
The
freedom.
fact that they rubbered the balcony so they can hose them down at the end
Yeah.
of the night. What the hell?
And then
I mean, that's a night.
Also, he was the ultimate diva because he would never dance with anyone else. He would only dance by himself.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, he was a sensational dancer. Think of what's that famous movie? John Travolta.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, that kind of look.
Oh.
Just dancing on his own, like not
Clear the floor.
Yeah.
Work.
Amazing.
So yeah, I didn't know.
So
that.
it's in your blood that we're
So,
doing
yeah.
Studio 54.
So I thought it was a cool little story
That is.
That is.
Wow.
that I didn't know about.
You've been to Studio 54, basically.
Yeah, I was. In,
1 degree of separation.
I was in his balls.
Oh my god, I wish we could
Rowan
have,
was going, night fever, night fever.
I wish we could have like a little animation now of a robin sperm.
Zoe. Let's look at some art
From the heart.
Art from the Heart from our Birth of Pride exhibit. Probably it was at the time our biggest. Oh, sorry, not Birth of Pride. Stupid bro.
Too many niches.
Too many niches. From the Dystopia.
t-shirts?
From the Dystopia exhibit, which was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge, wasn't
Yeah. So first we bring to the stage Craig. Lovely Craig.
Wow.
This is called Tin Man. I remember you struggling to cover this
Oh,
with with velvet.
Yeah, well, I ended up treating it like a budgie
Yeah.
and just put a little bit of red velvet over its head. I was just like, sorry, Craig, I can't afford 5 meters of red velvet for it.
So this is called Tin Man, mixed media, and I love, if you look at the thingy, he wrote it like code. So it says, Tin Man, booked in, location, Emerald Chop Shop, command, print, diagnostics, run, insight, general operation instructions, for heart appears lost, approximate location, Trash City, excessive use plus poor maintenance equals burnt out, defrag, commencing, repairs.
Defrag is the defragmentation of your hard disk.
Trash City.
Trash City.
That's a t-shirt.
That's
That is.
that's
I want to
right.
go to Trash City.
I think I was born in Trash City, maybe. I love this piece.
It's so good.
I actually had a really emotional reaction to this piece. There's something so tragic and beautiful about it, all at the same time.
And it just,
wow.
it talks about how, like, obviously, if you know the Wizard of Oz, you know the Tin Man doesn't have a heart, blah, 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 it's what he wants, but, like, this goes kind of a bit further, and if we go into his second piece, number 2 is the Tin Heart.
The heart,
Adored it.
yeah.
Stunning.
So beautiful. So he writes, please refer to operating manual and seek support from a loved one or professional if experiencing prolonged heartache or emotional distress. Warning, side effects may include, but not limited to, elation, irrational judgment, sleeplessness, increased heart rate, daydreaming, intrusive thoughts, storage. Keep out of reach of heartbreakers. Keep away from cynicism and negativity. Use with caution.
Oh my goodness, that's like a poem.
Yeah,
It actually
but
is.
that's Craig. Craig, we fucking love you. Also, I loved the last episode. Craig was on the live chat, and we were just having like a lovely banter back and forth.
Do you know what? Whenever we do these podcasts, it's a different feeling when people join us on the lives. Like, it's just insane being able to chat, and we got like quite vulnerable on the chat as well. Like, it's just a reminder that it's all very real and all the people involved. So if you ever join us for the live chats on the YouTube,
It's really
premieres,
cool.
We like the
honestly,
human connection.
Yeah.
it's great. It's amazing. So up next we've got Emma Louise Bell, Grasping for Growth, Oil on Canvas. The piece explores the idea of rebirth and transformation. It shows the resilience of nature. A woman is transformed into a vessel for the growth of beautiful but omnivorous mushrooms. She symbolizes the power of adaptation in the face of desolation. Like, she really struggled with this piece. She mentioned before that this is a piece that she like kind of resuscitated.
She repainted over it.
Yeah, and then she, like, Dystopia finally gave her that push of like, yes,
This is the piece.
This is it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that piece was being saved for it.
We have another one from Emma, number 4.
Oh,
So
stunning.
welcome to Eden, Oil on Canvas. As the last remaining inhabitant of Eden's dystopian city, Adam and Eve's hands intertwine. They are united in their determination to survive amidst the ruins of a once glorious city. The viewer is invited to explore the juxtaposition of life and decay, survival and desolation.
I didn't notice this the first time, but look at the struggle of the tree trying to come out of the asphalt. That's so beautiful.
Both of these pieces by Emma, I applaud her exploration of darkness in it.
Her way, again, we always talk about her skin tone, but also the way she uses nature. Like those mushrooms were...
Yeah.
And these leaves, like the pussy leaf and the penis leaf.
The pussy leaf.
The pussy... Please welcome to the stage.
Pussy leaf.
Pussy leaf.
Next we have someone who's sitting on this couch.
Rae Piper.
Rae
Hi.
Piper.
So this one is called Paradise Happiness.
So good.
Paradise does not equal happiness.
Oh.
It's the little math symbol with equals and then through it. So.
Not academic.
Sorry.
She speaks Latin and does advanced maths. So
That's useful for every day, isn't it?
So next we have Paradise Does Not Equal Happiness by Rae Piper. Acrylic on canvas. It is a common conception that if we were to be in paradise, we would necessarily become happy. However, thinking that a beautiful environment will solve our problems comes from a perspective of externally based fulfillment that can never be realized. This piece depicts the idea that it is very possible to be in the depths of a personal hell while physically being in heaven. Oof. An interesting corrective stance on this subject is voiced by Leanne Amanda, who says, "The other day, someone accredited my happiness to the fact that I had been living in paradise. Paradise did not create my happiness. Happiness created my paradise." Ooh!
this is the best piece that Rae has ever done, ever.
You say that every time.
Do I? No, this is the one. I mean, look at the expression on the face, the absolute...
The
like,
ribs. Mama, the ribs.
the colours, the
The
flowers.
pointed toe. Look at that turnout.
The shading. Like, there's not a piece of this that's not
What flower is that?
out of this world.
Purple one?
Great.
Lavender.
I don't know. It's purple flower.
It's beautiful.
It's harrowing.
It's hard to watch. In the best way possible.
Yeah, it's almost like joy and desolation at the same time. I guess they are related, really.
And I can fully, like, relate to the feeling of, like, you're somewhere else, you should be happy.
So this one is called Uncanny Valley,
So
Chinese ink on Xuan paper. Did I say that right?
You did, yeah.
I've been saying Xuan for the
Xuan.
last how many pods? I just thought I'd check.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
The uncanny valley is a psychological and aesthetic relation between an object's degree of resemblance to human being and our emotional response to the object. It's often used to describe the negative emotional response towards robots that seem almost human, or any humanoid being with the distorted or exaggerated features, a common device in dystopian art/film. The piece entertains the notion that the uncanny valley is a psychological place that triggers these same unsettling feelings as a result of the disparity between the expectation and reality of appearance of the natural vegetation. The suggestion of buildings in the distance represents the potential final stage of metamorphosis of nature to unnature, natural to unnatural.
The bleeding sun and the fact that there's, like, blood splat, like, it's so clever. And it is uncanny. And people think that Uncanny Valley needs to be like the Polar Express. That movie fucked me up as a child. It's too lifelike, but not... Or like Renesmee from Twilight.
It's on my Christmas list to watch.
Nice.
I quite like the Polar Express. Do you like it?
I've never seen it.
Okay.
It's very scary. But yeah, this is beautiful, Rae. I love this. Every time you do anything on, like, rice paper with your ink, it's so beautiful.
How do you achieve that, like, white and grey? It almost looks like it's melting out of the paper.
Did you thin it out?
That shading.
It's the way that you use the water with it. So I guess it's kind of like watercolor. I don't know because I've never painted with watercolor, but if you lay a little bit of water and then, like, it's how you sort of put the ink into it. And then also, like, the way that you load your brush as well.
With the gradient, it's almost like when you see pencil drawings and then you rub it out on top of it to get that kind of effect.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So that's incredible that you've achieved that with ink.
It's so beautiful. Also, we forgot to say that last one, that was your first time doing oil for...
Acrylic.
Acrylic
Yeah, no, it's
for
my
Niche.
first acrylic. And that's because Robin told me to try acrylic. And I was like, I hate acrylic. And
It's
then I
amazing.
had to go. And...
Next we have my personal favorite. Personal favorite, number 7. This is Goodbye 2024 Chinese ink on Xuan paper scroll. Should we tell the story? Or should I read this and then tell the story behind the picture?
Well, because you're actually responsible.
I am
this.
responsible for this.
This is entirely Rose's fault.
So Chinese ink on Schwan paper. Saying goodbye can be more than a simple farewell. It may be saying goodbye to something you thought you had for a fleeting moment before it was taken away. The figure's conflicted expression shows her remembering, practically tasting the ephemeral joy those few moments brought, while simultaneously falling into the hollowness of misery as it's ripped away. Dystopia has many places, different for each of us, but a lost love is perhaps a certain ticket to that unwelcome country.
You have to tell the story about this one.
So, I was on speed dial through a lot of your first Germanic
You're on speed dial for basically my whole of my life.
For your Germanic excursion.
Yes.
My Germanic excursion.
But let's just say you had to say goodbye to someone that meant a lot to you, and you called me, and you were like, oh my god, you weren't crying at the time, but you were like, I've just said goodbye to this person, I've been crying for like an hour, I must look a mess, and I was like, send me a picture. Send me a picture.
I was looking for emotional reassurance,
and I was like,
no, send me a picture, I bet you look stupid.
And now when you called me, that's the picture that comes up on my phone.
Yeah, the picture is so tragic.
I love that picture. But it is dystopian, and like you said, dystopia can be different things, and losing a love, there's nothing more dystopian, because it's that thing of where does all of this feeling that I have go?
Well, yeah.
That's very dystopian.
And I'll tell you where it goes, because Robin gave me this. Why don't you turn that pain into art, bitch? I was like, sure, why not? There's got to be use for it somewhere.
That's what we both said to each other when I first saw you since that happened.
Yeah.
Or any trauma that you go through. I'm just like, how can we turn that into art?
Let's figure it out.
Carrie Fisher, actress Carrie Fisher, who was Princess Leia, amongst many other things, incredible activist. I love her, Carrie Fisher. I'm so sorry. I miss you. Come back. May she rest in peace. She had this beautiful quote that said, take your broken heart and turn it into art. And that's always resonated with me a lot.
Right, we're going to have to get Rae to talk about this next piece, because
yes!
This was a collaboration piece.
Between Zoe Elizabeth Ellis.
If you want to read the blurb first.
And Rae Piper. So it's called Movement in Stillness, acrylic on canvas. This was huge. Right? If I remember correctly.
It was quite large, yeah.
The movement of a dancer is immobilized, shackled by paint, and imprisoned by canvas. A dancer doesn't just want to dance, they want to dance, and the desperate distress they experience when they cannot move is their dystopian nightmare. The inspiration for this piece came from the idea of combining two art forms, dance and painting. Zoe and Rae worked together using Rae's body as the paintbrush for the initial form, and then further detail laid in using hands. I have a behind the scenes picture that Zoe took of you. Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few behind the scenes pictures.
Yeah, send them in, we'll pop them on.
They're sold.
Yes, it did indeed. We had the most fun doing this, seriously. So, yeah, basically, I had this crazy idea that I would literally lay on a canvas and do these kind of dance movements. But I realized I couldn't achieve this quite very easily by myself. So I said to my girlfriend, will you help me with this piece? And they were like, yeah, sure. So we had the most fun time in my mum's garden. I'm totally naked. Zoe's covering me in purple paint, and then we're trying to figure out how to lay me on the canvas without destroying the whole thing, and then how much water to use to make the paint flow.
You gave the best read when Rae gave this to you, and you were like, how did you not break the canvas? And Rae was like, thank you, love. Thank you so much.
Oh,
it's so good. It has so much movement, no pun intended, but it is really you're struggling to get out. You know, in those films when a wall, you know, someone's behind the wall and then...
yeah, the wall stretches.
It's giving that.
It's a very surreal piece. For me, my interpretation of that is that it looks like your arms are flailing there.
Yeah, because that was the movement that I was doing with the arms.
Yeah.
And look at that! Look at that pointed foot.
I think Zoe thought I was absolutely nuts when I asked them if we could do this together, but...
Speaking of Zoe, they are next.
Yay!
We have Sentient Pleasure. Double click. Another club. Sentient Pleasure by Zoe Elizabeth Ellis. It's digital art. This surreal illustration explores the intersection of organic growth and the human form. Blending the natural structure of a mushroom with the human body, it represents the themes of transformation, symbiosis, and the fluid relationship between nature and identity. The dripping elements evoke a sense of both decay and renewal, inviting viewers to reflect on the cycles of life and growth. This sold. It's still in my house because we haven't shipped it, but this sold.
I'm honestly a bit speechless at this one. I can't find the words to say other than I think it's a really brilliant piece.
It's so good.
My brain is trying to like process so much in this.
It's so thought-provoking. And
Yeah, there's so much to dissect in this.
I mean, the use of mushrooms is obviously not the first time already because we've seen mushrooms used in the previous painting, but the use of mushrooms I think is just so interesting. I mean, mushrooms, fungi in general, is super interesting.
So interesting.
Well,
The most adaptable life form in the planet.
Yeah.
And I might be mistaken, but I think the oldest living organism is a network of mushrooms in North America that are like the oldest living things ever, and they like.
And they will be here way past us.
Yeah,
The Last of Us,
absolutely.
baby. Next, we bring to the stage.
Kasia Ostrovska,
You always say Priscilla's long lost cousin.
Priscilla's long lost mother.
Oh, yes, bitch. This was so beautiful. This was so pretty.
So this is called Shining Darkness, acrylic. At times of desolation and ruin, true friends can be the anchor in the chaos, grounding us and reminding us that we're not facing challenges alone. Sometimes you can't see the stars until you're surrounded by the darkness.
I love this. It's giving Little Prince.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
this is 100% Little Prince, which instantly just makes me want to cry straight
Yeah.
away. 'cause
I
it's
think
a
she
beautiful
said
story.
it's based off a children's story.
Little Prince.
There will be Little
Is that what
Prince.
it is?
Yeah.
then? Yeah.
If you've never seen it, I'll make you watch it. It's
Yes, so that...
Read it. Read
Yeah.
it. Read
Yeah,
it.
incredible piece, very big, beautiful colours.
huge as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Cassia
beautiful.
did a fantastic job.
Next, we have a friend of you and I, a friend of all of us, the one and only Darren.
Yes, we do. And this one is called Future Dystopia, which is almost like, can we just talk about Darren's premonition powers? We're all very, yeah. So this was before, obviously, Trump just got elected the president again. So I think there's a theme. I think Darren's a secret witch.
I think so.
So-
Probably not that secret. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's acrylic and ink, an image of a possible result of misuse of power causing a dystopian future, featuring Donald Trump dressed as the Grand Wizard from the KKK. America and some of its monuments lay in ruin behind him.
Darren is so good. This is
our resident, premonitionist.
gay wizard. This is so good. This is insane. This is
It's
so
terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's the day after tomorrow. It's very the Hunger Games. It's just
Very today.
It's today. It's literally. I think he goes into power soon, doesn't it? Jan.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is insane. Darren, your art is so important. And also, I know you, and I'm pretty sure, it's so good for someone that I know you absolutely fucking hate.
Yeah, which is a brave move.
Yes.
To create artwork of something that's ugly. I really admire
This was a
that.
gasp moment when you unveiled it.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
So good. Another Darren, number 12. This made me cry, bitch. This made me cry so much. This is called My Own Private Dystopia, acrylic on ink. This is an image of myself and my mother. I'm reading the headlines, the newspaper. I'm reading the headlines in the newspaper at the outbreak of the AIDS virus in the early 1980s, sitting at the kitchen table and wondering whether my future as a gay man will be as doomed as they predict.
Oh, this is just so powerful.
I can't look at it too much because I
yeah,
really
it's
emotional.
a lot.
I really admire how personal Darren went with this piece. Literally, it's his own life story on canvas.
And just remembering as well, back in the 80s, what people's reaction, straight people's reaction to this was like. It was insane. I remember at school one person saying to me, I think that we should put all the gays on one island and just let them all die there together. And that was normal.
Yeah.
And this just captures that kind of feeling of just how people reacted to it and the awfulness.
And can I just say, we're sort of heading back there again.
I know.
I missed the 4 or 5 years where people didn't give a shit about gay people, and now we're back at this simmering pot of hatred.
Yeah.
Then we have Serena Eden.
Yeah, so was this her first?
This was her first.
Yeah,
yes.
this was her first ever submission, and a really beautiful piece.
This is called Lost. It's ceramic. A look inward on how people see a person without hope and what it looks like to them. So it's really beautiful. I don't know if you have a picture of the back of it as well.
Yeah,
but the blanket says hope.
And then less on the back of the person.
The back of the person says less, so it's hopeless.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the artwork that she's been producing, especially for her occult piece was incredible, incorporating the ceramics into a canvas. Like Serena's developing her own style.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
I love the posture of the figure.
Yeah.
It literally
Hugging your
embodies
knees. Hopelessness.
hopelessness. Yeah.
Beautiful. Next we have Mark Sang, which I think this was quite a personal piece, I believe. This is called I Can't Live Without You. Digital art. And again, Mark's really good at making his digital work look like a painting. Dystopia and utopia can't coexist without each other, though they are both so contrasting. They both need each other in order to survive, almost as if they are in a toxic relationship that would not give either side up.
I mean, that's so true. Obviously, we wouldn't understand one concept without the other.
Yeah, you can't have the light without the darkness.
He's a very talented artist.
Come back.
Incredible, yes.
I love that use of colour on the face. Just bringing in that goldy yellow is such a high point there.
And that's also representing his culture. That's a very traditional
Like
mask.
demon mask, yeah.
I adore that he's incorporating his cultural identity into most of his pieces.
Yeah, because the first piece he did for Stage Exit was about...
Ada Wang?
Ada Wang.
Or was that Resident Evil?
No, that's Resident Evil. And I fully said yes. But no, it's about... Insert name here of one of the only Asian actresses in America in the golden age of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Next we have... Say the name.
Gabriella Lo Scalzo.
Yep.
So this is called Nothing Makes Sense. It's pen and ink on paper. So we've got a new medium to niche from Gabriella. And she writes, I do think the world is quite odd. So much pain, torment, yet so much beauty. I've never felt like I fitted in. Everything is so alien and confusing. This piece stems from a bad day, my own diary entry of feeling all the social isolation and weight of the world every time I interact with anyone. I wanted to portray how crushing it feels, like the world is moving at a completely different pace to you. How draining it is to put on a facade, a mask, that all is okay. How dystopian it feels to be in a world that seems not built for neurodivergent creatures like me.
This is so beautiful. This is another Gabriella Lo Scalzo where the more you look at it, the more you find. And you really have to like zoom in. I don't know if in post you want to put every vignette.
Yeah.
But I just noticed this one where she's in therapy and the therapist says, have you ever heard of the autism spectrum? And she goes, well, shit. She's so clever. Gabby, your art is so important. I know that you have a new career and I'm so proud of you, and I will absolutely have your art on my body. She is training to be a tattooist.
Yeah.
Wow.
I follow her page. She's constantly posting tattoos.
Yes.
And
Amazing.
I will be one of your living art pieces, baby
Yes.
girl. This is stunning. This is beautiful. The more I look at it, it's also, I don't know if this was the inspiration, but like there's something a little bit Chapel Roan about
Oh, yeah, there is,
her.
isn't there?
It's so beautiful. And also, as 3 neurodivergent individuals, I think we have all felt like weirdos.
Or being crushed by the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Or, like, it really resonates with putting the mask on because,
Mask
it's like,
in.
yes, of course I fit in.
I'm mask for mask. That means I mask all the time. Then we have River Alton. Their piece is called Let Them Hate Me As Long As They Fear Me. I said gouache last time and I was red, so gouache. Inspired by the Cold War propaganda and the short story I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I love this. River with their collages, like... Not collages, but like the way they use ripped entries of paper. It's just so cool.
I love how in the eyes you see like atomic explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eyes are drawing me in.
And it's giving me Statue of Liberty vibes.
Yeah, it is giving propaganda. So they understood the assignment. That's amazing.
And the clock as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit Watchmen as well.
A bit Watchmen.
What's the clock, which is like counting down to when we basically destroy the
Doomsday.
world?
The Doomsday
Clock.
Clock.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't think of the word.
And yeah, so I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream is a fantastic book. I've not read it yet, but Martin raves about it, and there's a game of it. So we've been watching like a Let's Play.
Oh, what?
It's really
what's
dark.
it called?
I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
Oh.
It is dark as shit.
Okay,
It's
cool.
about this AI that has the final 6 humans in existence and puts them through like these simulations and stuff, and it's like weird.
Oh,
I'm very looking forward to watching the Let's Play and getting into the book. So.
Great. Next we have By Me.
Yay!
Called Death Becomes Her.
Beautiful piece.
Beautiful piece.
There's quite a bit of interest in this one, but take it away.
They just write Utopia and Dystopia Visions of Death.
I love the split in between the juxtaposition.
For anybody who ever played Yu-Gi-Oh, it's giving, there's a card called the Change of Heart, and it gives that, sorry.
I love how dark that is compared to how light it is. It's like she really went all the way in on either side. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really beautiful.
Really beautiful. We love your art, By Me.
Yeah, we look forward to talking about your piece for Occult Odyssey, which was one of our
Yes.
most favourite. She switched up the medium and honestly,
Yeah, she went
incredible.
from digital to
acrylic. Yeah.
Beautiful. Next we have Katie Jones, who again did a piece and a poem together. So this is the poem. It's called Everything Is Gone. The poem is inspired by the genocide and impact on Gaza. I wrote this poem to express the experiences in the perspective of the innocent people impacted. I also chose to write the poem to release my own anger and distress. One thing about Katie is that she feels things very deeply, and she feels injustice a lot, and I really relate to that.
I've done the poem and the painting to link because I kind of like doing that. So I've based both on what is happening in Gaza because I have quite a lot of anger towards that. So I've used it as a way of being quite political and to kind of show it from the victim side because you don't tend to see that often on TV. So I've done that. So the poem is called Everything Is Gone and the painting is called Up in Smoke, so it kind of links like that. She sits on a rock that is left with nothing but the dirt between the cracks of her hands and the blood inside her fingernails, her heart full in an empty world, reimagining everything she once had and all she has lost. It doesn't stop the sound of the bombs, but she can't hear them. She only hears the final cries of the children taking their last breath. You take my home, you take my love, all of the land that you claim is yours. It's all gone, everything is gone. She stares into the ground at the blood-stained rubble, watching as her world rises up in smoke. Empty air and you keep on taking, ravaging until there's nothing left to take, scrounge until there's nothing more that we can bear. No remorse, no feel, just greed and anger, and everyone else has no happy ever after. Her tears run down her face, imagining her life in a better place, but she can only imagine as the screams of families being torn apart deafens her. Screams of people being dragged away and we never see them again. Screams that repeat in your head. Screams that repeat in your head. Screams that repeat in your head. Screams that repeat in your head and never leave. Her eyes photograph everything, printed on her mind. Scarred memories, gun-wounded families, sunken hearts and broken fantasies. Everything is gone, everything is lost. Children die, but at what cost? Everything is gone, there's nothing left but the remains of the people that took their last breath.
Katie, that was incredible. And this is the painting that goes along with the poem. Well done, Katie.
You're very similar in that respect.
Oh yeah, I'm angry about things that happened 100 years ago.
And then she did...
And then we have the art piece, which is called Up in Smoke. Yeah, beautiful. Oil paint and charcoal. So it says, they write, I researched into war and protest artists and came across an artist called Bushra Khanan. They did a painting on Gaza where the smoke rising above the buildings had the faces of children that had lost their lives within the smoke. This painting was created with this as inspiration, showing a symbol of death and a world imagined by the victims.
Oh, wonderful. So beautiful. I love the juxtaposition, the colours used for the top art.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Also, it doesn't look like oil paint, but it surely is. It's beautiful. It's so stunning.
The figure is very impactful
Yeah,
there.
it's almost like No Face from Spirited Away.
Yeah, it is actually. But I love the placement of the figure as well. Not central.
No, because it's almost like it's like death. Death has to watch it happen, right? They can't do anything about it, whether they want to or not. Like it's. Next, we have our first by Oliver, I believe.
Yeah, so Oliver reached out after Birth of Pride.
Yeah.
They were there to support Gabriella.
Yeah.
And I think they got a taste for what we were doing. And this is, I think, one of my favourites from the Dystopia.
The more you look at it again, the more you can see things like the
There's
faces.
so much in there.
So this one is called Human Mesh. It's pen on paper, A1.
Wow, shit.
My piece is a hellscape of men suffering in their own grief, being held together by a non-binary entity from another dimension. I'm depicting a world that's glitching and falling apart at the very end of the universe, exposing toxic masculinity as a mesh of the psychedelic horror collapsing on itself.
This is stunning. This is so brilliant. I can't believe it's ink.
Yeah, the way that it's capturing the idea of if you were to look at neurons,
Yeah.
you would see basically kind of this structure, but with with all the art in there as well.
Also, a non-binary entity holding things together.
Hello.
Hello! Welcome to the stage. This is stunning. I love it.
This is something special.
You always talk about how much you love art that allows your brain to fill in the gaps, and I think this is very it.
Yeah, I love the negative space with the white at the top, and then the condensed parts of it.
Yeah.
And that looks like the little tree there that's kind of like holding everything.
Yeah.
It's giving me like Dante vibes as well.
Yes, it's giving me
Divine
like
Comedy.
medieval. It's giving me medieval mural, like this really mad old medieval.
Or
paintings.
what's the ones that you like? We've talked about this before, and I still don't remember the name. Press.
Lino printing, or
Yeah, like it looks like a print in the whatever.
yeah. But
So
Oliver,
good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We need you to come back. Keep making art. You're sensational.
And we have another newcomer for Niche. This was Kane Hartley's first piece, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. So Kane Hartley is called A Departure from Consciousness, acrylic on MDF woodboard, a body of work exploring the mental condition, embodying surrealist techniques which aid and investigate into my own subconsciousness. This is such a haunting and dark piece.
It's so dark. It looks like the cover of a scary video game. Like the cover art.
This reminds me of that Dali painting. Do you remember on the on the podcast with Saul? We
The
did
one-
the erotica.
It was
and
a painting.
The surrealism.
Yeah. It was a picture, not a painting.
It was
Yeah.
photograph, and like the teeth and the it looks like teeth for eyes. It's absolutely terrifying.
It's terrifying.
I think everybody who looks at this painting is going to see that completely differently.
Yeah.
And like how we make pictures or recognizable images out of things that maybe aren't necessarily recognizable. I feel like we're all going to have
Our
a
own.
different response to this.
Journeys.
Yeah.
Cool. Next we have number 22. Cash. Cash Rolfie. Fucking love her. Hi Cash, I love you. This is called The End Is Nigh. Oh. So good. Canvas, acrylic paint. They write, the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
speechless. Do you know what? Like, just something silly, but the glow of the blue on the planet there, I really love that. And this sort of strange figure here with the horns, like it's giving me Maleficent vibes.
Yeah, and all these little shadow elements here, which I think, well, I was actually interpreting them as like other beings as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, they look like hands almost
Yeah.
like coming up.
Yeah.
And there's almost like, it feels like there's a religious content, like it's giving me Jesus vibes at the middle for some reason.
The sleeves.
Yeah.
Jesus
so,
sleeves.
Yeah, and
Jesus
weirdly,
loved the sleeve.
I looked at that and just went wormhole. That's escaped somewhere else completely.
Yeah.
This
so
piece
beautiful.
sold as well. So
Yeah.
and
Beautiful.
a big thank you to Cash. Like she has donated 20% of all of the pieces that she sold to the Niche Artefact Fund. So we are,
We love you.
we've spoken about casual support, like it is next level.
It really is.
And
it really is.
thank you for your support and thank you for your amazing art, and you have been showing up consistently. We can't wait to see what you do
We
next.
love you. You're such a queen. Next, we have Chelsea Marie.
Chelsea Marie.
This is also called The End Is Nigh. Acrylic, metal, and resin on canvas. A piece to depict chaos and decay in reflection of our ecological disruptions caused by contemporary resources. Damn.
Amazing. I think this is her best piece she's done yet, which is also controversial because she has produced some of the most amazing pieces. The colour, the mix of materials.
And the fact that she used the thing that's killing us to depict the killing. Does that make sense? Like, she says, I use the materials are the things that are also killing us. Obviously, like the resources, the metal. It's both organic and inorganic. I really love this. I love the little leaves.
There's something so... If I say there is a simplicity about this, I don't mean that this has been simple to make.
No,
not at all.
I get in
But,
trouble for that all the time.
yeah, the beautiful simplicity of making such a strong statement in very simple terms.
Without killing it with too much
Yeah,
detail.
absolutely.
I'm a big believer in letting art breathe like that.
It's very like, if you ever played Twilight Princess, you know when you, but you know when you teleport from one place to another, you like you get completely unmade and then redone. It's giving that. I really love this. And next we have the last one by
This one is
Chelsea
called
Marie.
Majesty. There's a bit of a story behind this one. So we were. This is the one that she did for Gods and Monsters mythology. But unfortunately, we'll pop a clip in here of her talking about it.
We're so proud to have you here. Right, we're going to do Majesty. And we're going to... Yes, we're going to do it. We're going to do Majesty. Right, there's a bit of a story behind Majesty. So, I think you were like having too much wine one night and you were mixing the chemicals wrong with the peas?
Yeah, I was like 3 bottles down and I thought, let me have an all-nighter. This was when...
Was this actually what happened?
No, it actually...
Oh, I was just guessing.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about your alcoholism.
So basically, I finished work and I was managing a restaurant, finished at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and your event was, what was it?
Mythology.
Mythology. So I was like, okay, I've got this amazing idea, let me actually get into it, let me finish it. And then I ended up mixing 2 bits of resin that aren't supposed to be mixed like that, so it didn't work out. Robin last week was saying, oh, you need to finish it, hand it in. So I said, yeah, okay. So today he asked for the piece and I was very hesitant. Said that I wanted to go unnamed, but here it is.
If anyone's seen a Chelsea piece, how can you say unnamed? You have such a unique style that is Chelsea. Who came to mythology, Gods and Monsters? OG crew. Right, please give it up for Chelsea. And this is her piece for Gods and Monsters that didn't make it, but we said, ooh, we're not doing that yet. Give it up for Chelsea.
But we finally managed to track down the long-lost Chelsea piece. So this was called Majesty. So we included this in to celebrate her into this exhibit. So Visage of Tutankhamun, through a striking contrast of black and gold. Tutankhamun was believed to have been a living god on earth, whose brief yet significant reign marked a restoration of traditional practices after a period of religious turmoil. And it's done in the classic Chelsea Marie style.
That's sand, isn't it?
With acrylic, resin and canvas.
So good.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It looks like it was unearthed. Unearthed?
It looks like an archaeological dig that's giving me that.
Yeah.
We love your art, Chelsea.
Sensational.
Jesus. Well,
Just
Tutankhamun.
love how the light is working here with this.
Like you just, there's so many dimensions to it, where you got the darkness and then you got the lightness. Like there's 2 faces there.
It straight away evokes like all of the the lore around Egyptian mythology and culture. Hopefully not the curse though.
No. Well, that was all the art for Dystopia.
Yeah, so we had 24 submissions for Dystopia. Like incredible. The art show was amazing. The stage show was amazing. Dystopia like solidified us in terms of visibility with exposure. and led into the best one ever, which was Occult Odyssey.
Which we'll talk about soon.
Yes, so the next episode will be Occult Odyssey, and we have a special guest confirmed. We have the drag artiste extraordinaire, Danny Magic.
Yay! Danny,
Miss
we love
Magic.
you.
We
And
love
I'm
you, Danny.
so excited to have a chat with Danny on the sofa. I think it's going to be a vibe.
Me too. Before we go, Ray, tell the children where they can find you on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Re-
on the social
on
media.
the social media.
Right, you can find me. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. I don't do Twitter because X or whatever it's called now. You can find me either at Rae Piper _dance on Instagram, or at Milady Burlesque, because I have 2 accounts.
Yes.
But on Facebook, I'm at Rae Piper Dance. There's no underscore. Don't ask me why.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
We'll-
don't really do social
yeah,
We'll pop your socials below.
Also, we'll be able to catch you at performing a number at Studio 54.
Yes, absolutely.
So make sure that you guys go
Get
online.
your tickets.
Yeah, and go to nicheartefact.co.uk, get a ticket. I appreciate it's a while away, but you are supporting these incredible local Nottingham artists. So yeah, definitely get involved.
And don't forget to like and subscribe and keep making art. See you on the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, guys.
Oh.
Ooh, crunchy, crunchy knees.
Oh dear. I bet there should be some fun bloopers from that.